everyone, and welcome to Daily Newspaper Analysis, which is brought to you by LawSikho. So, today we will discuss one article that is our editorial. We'll be discussing it at length, and this is from the Hindu newspaper. The title of this article is The Importance of Caste Data. So, this again talks about it how much is it important to have proper counting and proper data for moving further or taking decisions when it comes to the caste census in the India. So, what actually is the importance of caste census and why is this data important will be discussed here. Then we have the news update segment in which we'll be discussing the important news points specifically for our prelims exam. And finally, we'll be concluding with the legal news updates for the day. So let's discuss the only and the first article for the day. That's about the socio-economic and caste data. So let's understand firstly that why is this entire thing into news. So recently the Supreme Court has upheld that 27% quota for the OBCs, that is the other backward classes, in the all India quota seats for the NEET exam. We have been discussing a lot about the NEET exam and how the reservation system, differs over there. And basically, why is it so important over there? So the Supreme Court has again upheld that for the all India quota, when it comes to the national eligibility cum entrance test, that is the NEET exam, which is basically for the medical students. So in that, the 27% quota for the OBCs will be upheld, and that will definitely be taken care of. And it also reiterated that reservations for the backward classes, they were not really an exception. Rather, they are an extension of the principle of equality under Article 15, Clause 1 of the Constitution. Now, when we talk about Article 15, specifically 15 Clause 1 of the Constitution, it says or it talks about no discrimination on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. So basically, when the government makes some different provisions for the people from the backward classes or those who had suffered the caste issues, so that is basically not any kind of discrimination. Rather, it is a reasonable classification. And that is where the Supreme Court has said that this kind of system of reservation is not really an exception. Rather, this is a thing that gives the true meaning to Article 15, Clause 1, which is a fundamental right, and it is rather an extension of the meaning of principle of equality under Article 15 of the Indian Constitution. So let's see that what is actually the All India quota NEET case. So the court pointed out disparities that are not limited to the issue of access to good education or financial constraints alone, but also to the psychological and social effects of inherited cultural capital. Now the court here basically is saying that it is not just in the terms of education or financial resources that the people from these particular backward classes have to face. Rather, there are a lot of other effects that they have to face, which are psychological and also social in nature. For example, their communication skills, their confidence in the society, availability of books and other resources, their accent, academic accomplishments, social networks, etc. So definitely all of these things are hampered because of the kind of discrimination that they have faced through several years. And that is why we need to move further, or we need to provide them with better backing if we want to bring them equal to the other parts of the society. So, as Justice D.Y. Chandrachud pointed out, that castelessness, that is basically to not, opine for any particular caste, is like a privilege that only the upper caste can afford, because their caste is not giving them something as of benefit in the current situation. Yes, of course, in the previous times it did, but now it does not really help them a lot. So, definitely, this castelessness, the status, can only help the people that are from the upper caste, and only they can afford this, because the people who are from the lower caste as such, basically, when why we are quoting it as lower caste, so basically the caste that had suffered a lot of societal discrimination. So these people, they take the privilege of their caste because it actually gets translated into social, political, and economic capital. So basically it says that the lower caste persons retain their caste identity in order to claim the benefits of measures such as reservation, which recognize historic harm. So definitely they need such kinds of gestures or such kinds of implementations to come forward and to walk shoulder by shoulder with the other castes of the society. So here it says that reservation is used as a political tool. Now this undoubtedly is definitely the harsh truth of the society, that reservation is used as a political tool, and every now and then the government uses this stuff to allure the people for their votes. Now let's see that why do we need the credible exercise of having reliable data. So first of all, the problem is that no specific or credible data is available on the OBCs, that is the other backward castes. So the socio-economic and caste census, which was conducted in 2011, so the data which was collected through that has been called faulty and unreliable for several reasons. And the Supreme Court held that states must conclude the backwardness of a particular class only after proper assessment and objective evaluation. So this was held according to the Indra Sawhney case, in which it said that if at all the states are considering one particular caste or one particular caste or section of the people to be at that of backward, so that should be, this decision should basically be based on proper assessment, analysis, and objective evaluation, and only then such categorization should take place. So the National Commission for Backward Classes Act 1993, the section 11 of this particular act provides that caste census for the OBCs should be held every 10 years. But as we know, definitely because of the COVID-19 pandemic the previous year, so the caste census was due to take place in 2021 because the last one was in 2011, but it could not be conducted for various reasons. So caste data will enable independent research not only into the question of who does and does not need the affirmative action, but also in the effectiveness of this measure, that how much are we effectively being able to deliver the requirements of the society, and are we or are we not really delivering to the expectations of these people. Now, this article also points out that reservation as such does not create the current divide that we are looking at in our society, but the misuse or the perceived misuse of this particular segment does. With this, let's move to the news update section. Firstly, the Global Summit on Reimagining Museums in India. So the important point is that it is a 2-day summit, which is called as Reimagining Museums in India, and it has started already in Hyderabad. So over 1,000 museums from the country and abroad will showcase cultural heritage on the occasion for educating future generations as part of the summit. Secondly, fourth India-Australia Energy Dialogue. So fourth India-Australia Energy Dialogue was held on Tuesday, that was yesterday. So dialogue was co-chaired by Power Minister R.K. Singh and Australian Energy and Emissions Reduction Minister Angus Taylor. So both parts discussed energy transitions, renewable energy, energy efficiency, storage, electric vehicles, and also critical minerals. Thirdly, Bengali singer Sandhya Mukhopadhyay passes away at 90. So legendary Bengali singer, her name as we already now know is Sandhya Mukhopadhyay, has passed away in Kolkata on Tuesday after a brief illness. She was 90 years old, and last month the singer declined the Padma Shri award. If you remember, she was a lot into news, which according to her family she considered too little, too late. Let's conclude with the final legal news for the day. Firstly, Telangana High Court has held that dying declaration can be the sole basis of conviction if it is true and voluntary. So as you know that section 32 of the Indian Evidence Act provides for the dying declaration. So the Telangana High Court has recently reiterated that this provision of dying declaration under section 32 of the Indian Evidence Act can be the sole and the only basis of conviction if the deceased makes the statement in a fit state of mind and also makes it voluntarily. So the High Court relied on the decision in the case of Atbir versus Government of NCT of Delhi in 2010, in which it was ruled that the dying declaration can be the sole basis of conviction if it inspires full confidence of the court and the deceased was in a fit state of mind at the time of making the statement, which means that he should not be, in any way he should not be forced or coerced to do so, and medically also he should be fit as such, in his senses to give that statement. Secondly, the matrimonial case transfer would be valid if the wife does not have anyone to accompany her across long distance, which is a relevant factor, so which has been held by the Allahabad High Court. So Allahabad High Court has observed that the fact that a wife is not having anyone, if she does not have anyone to accompany her across a long distance, is a relevant consideration in ordering the transfer of a matrimonial case to the local area where she belongs to. So the proceedings of the case under Section 12, 1B and C, read with Section 5 of the Hindu Marriage Act 1955, so which was basically filed by the husband, were withdrawn from the Principal Judge, Family Court, Gautam Buddha Nagar, and transferred to the Learned Principal Judge, Family Court of Allahabad. So the last one for the day, Karnataka High Court strikes down law banning online gaming with stakes. So the Karnataka High Court on Monday held certain provisions of the Karnataka Police Amendment Act 2021, by which the state government has banned online games. We recently also studied about it, with stakes to be ultra wires to the constitution and struck them down. So the act provides maximum imprisonment of 3 years and penalty up to rupees 1 lakh for violation of the provisions. So this was all for the day. We hope you liked the session. So if you did, so please give it a thumbs up to the session. And also, if you wish to download the PDF of today's slides, you can join our Telegram channel. The link is there in the description box below, or you can scan this QR code that you can see on your screens right now. Also, for other exam-oriented and crisp content, do not forget to follow us on our official Instagram channels for Judiciary, CLAT Prep, UGC Net, and Law Finance exam. Thank you so much.